I realized this weekend that I am preparing my unborn child for a world that no longer exists, and it absolutely terrifies me.
Okay, take a breath. Just listen to the espresso machine hissing behind us right now. Anchor yourself right here at the table with me. And you, sitting right across from us, grab your coffee. Because you really, really need to hear this.
Yeah, I do. I mean, my heart is still kind of racing from it because I just got back from our annual family reunion. You know how those go, right? Loud, chaotic, plates clinking everywhere, just a million conversations happening all at once.
Oh, yeah. Total sensory overload.
Exactly. And I was sitting in the corner, just trying to find some structure in the chaos, observing my two nephews, Leo and Sam. And as I watched them, I realized I was looking at this invisible, heavy wall dividing the future right down the middle of my own family.
An invisible wall. I mean, I know you'd usually look for patterns, but what exactly were you seeing in a living room full of relatives?
I was looking at two completely different survival strategies for the next decade. And it made me realize that traditional learning, the way we did it, it's actually a trap now. I watched how a solid 3.0 GPA student completely outmaneuvered a flawless 4.0 genius.
Wait, really?
Yeah, it fundamentally changed how I think about raising my own kid. Which brings up this wild shift because, summarizing the whole realization, we have to accept that our old pedagogy is setting the next generation up to fail. We are going to see how that invisible wall allowed a 3.0 student to outsmart a 4.0 genius. And honestly, it completely shatters our traditional pedagogy.
Pedagogy. That is such a heavy structural word. It's the entire method and practice of teaching. But to say a 4.0 is a trap goes against literally a century of how we measure human value. So paint the picture for me. What were the boys actually doing?
Okay, so on one side of the room, there's my brother's son, Leo. He is the undisputed pride of the family, flawless 4.0 GPA, exactly the kind of disciplined student you and I always tried to be. I look over, and he is hunched over this massive textbook, sweating,
Like physically stressed out.
visibly tight. His shoulders were up to his ears. He was manually drafting a history essay with a pen, just meticulously memorizing dates and names. He was treating his mind like a storage unit for data. And my brother was looking at him with this immense sense of security.
Well, sure, because that kind of rigor, that's what we were taught to reward. You put the time in, you memorize the facts, you get the grade, it feels safe.
Right. But then I look at the other side of the room. There is my sister's son, Sam, academically totally unremarkable by those old metrics, a solid 3.0. But while Leo was sweating over his notebook, Sam was leaned back in his chair, totally relaxed.
In the flow.
Exactly. He had his tablet out and he was engaged in a real-time simulated audio debate with his AI. He had actually instructed it to act as a common soldier and a general from the exact same historical conflict that Leo was writing about. Sam wasn't just searching for facts, he was interviewing them, probing for motivations, analyzing the nuances of their battlefield decisions.
That is a staggering contrast.
Yeah.
I mean, just the physical posture alone tells the whole story. Leo is treating his brain like a hard drive. He's training to compete with the machine. But Sam is learning to command it.
Yes. Competing versus commanding.
It's an intuition thing. When you try to act like a database, you block the natural flow of human curiosity. You become rigid. Searching and storing is such a closed loop.
And it felt terrifying to watch because Leo is working twice as hard to compete with a database that is a billion times faster than his biological brain. Watching him, I felt the true weight of the word obsolete.
Obsolete. Let's just sit with that word for a second, because it's not just a business term. What did that actually feel like in your body, watching your nephew?
It felt like vertigo, like a cold drop right in the center of my stomach. Realizing that the hardest skills you spent thousands of hours perfecting the memorization, the Data Recall Society has just quietly placed an expiration date on them. It feels like the ground vanishing beneath your feet.
Because it's not just that the skill is old, it's that the human energy spent on it is completely wasted. It's tragic, honestly. When you spend all your energy acting like a server, you have absolutely nothing left for actual human connection. Which makes me wonder, how did this play out later? Did Leo have any energy left for the family?
You nailed it. He had zero. The disparity between them became painfully obvious at the dinner table. Leo was entirely drained. Hours of solitary study had left him completely exhausted. He had focused so narrowly on that academic structure that he lacked the basic social bandwidth to handle the messy, unpredictable flow of human interaction. He just stared at his plate.
Oh, that breaks my heart. He was cognitively depleted.
Completely. But Sam was entirely in his element. Because he doesn't spend his nights doing tasks that an algorithm can do in 3 seconds, he has the mental space to cultivate empathy. High-level emotional intelligence. Right there at the dinner table, two of the younger cousins started screaming and fighting over video game. Just a total, messy human meltdown.
Let me guess. Leo tried to enforce a rule or just completely shut down.
Leo literally covered his ears. He couldn't handle the noise. But Sam didn't yell at them to stop. He walked over, got down on their level, and actively empathized with their frustrations. He used this incredibly gentle persuasion and engineered a complete win-win outcome where they both agreed to take turns. It was a masterclass in nuance.
That is beautiful. He was attuned to the sensory reality of the room. While Leo is exhausting himself trying to be a better calculator, Sam is intuitively learning how to be a leader of humans.
And that's exactly the takeaway here. Emotional intelligence is stepping up as the ultimate unoutsourceable asset. We're seeing that empathy is essentially the new gold standard commodity. But I have to ask, what happens when the very fabric of truth is attacked right at that same family dinner table?
Wait, attacked, what do you mean? And let's touch on that word you just used, commodity. Because calling empathy a commodity sounds so clinical, but in a human sense, a commodity is something of supreme fundamental value that everyone suddenly desperately needs.
Exactly. It's the one thing you can't fake. Or so I thought, until we were taking a break after dinner. My phone buzzes. The family group chat. Someone dropped the scandalous video clip of a global leader making a highly controversial, super aggressive statement.
Oh no, one of those.
Yeah. And instantly, the whole table erupted in anger. People were shouting, getting totally dysregulated. And Leo, with his massive database of historical facts, immediately jumped in to defend the video.
Because he's highly intelligent.
Yeah.
Right. So he used that intellect to validate what he was seeing.
Precisely. He started analyzing the logic of the speaker's argument. Because the video looked official and the rhetoric perfectly aligned with certain textbook historical patterns he had memorized, Leo accepted it as authentic. He was actively using his exceptionally high IQ to intellectually justify a sophisticated lie.
That is terrifying. His library brain was dangerously vulnerable to synthetic reality. Traditional education trained him to respect authority, format, and structure, so he literally couldn't see the deception. His intelligence created a blind spot.
It was a fortress around a lie. But Sam didn't take the bait. He didn't argue the politics at all. He just calmly leaned over my shoulder, squinted at the screen, and completely ignored the audio. Instead, he pulled out his phone, ran a quick diagnostic verification, and just pointed out these subtle rendering artifacts around the speaker's eyes.
The visual glitches.
Yeah, unnatural digital glitches in the shadows that Leo's brilliant mind had completely overlooked. It was a high-fidelity deepfake.
Wow. Sam completely bypassed the emotional manipulation. He understands that the hallmark of intelligence isn't just knowing facts or winning an argument anymore. It's having the intellectual fortitude to verify the signal in all that noise.
It requires such a specific type of discernment. When the whole digital world is swirling with panic and synthetic outrage, Sam had this quiet, steady anchor. He just paused, stepped back, and saw the strings attached to the puppet.
Discernment. That is the exact word. And let's talk about the feeling of discernment, because it's not just a mental trick. It's a deeply grounded bodily anchor. When everyone else's heart rate is spiking and they are reacting to the noise, discernment is the physical sensation of slowing down, dropping your center of gravity, refusing to be swept away by the digital tide.
That's exactly what he did, just completely grounded. But, earlier you asked about my brother's sense of security regarding Leo's path. We really need to talk about how privilege factors into this divide, because my brother and I were having a drink later on the porch, and he started bragging about the staggering cost of Leo's private tutors.
Ah, the classic privilege gap.
Right. He explicitly called it a gatekeeper fee to ensure Leo stays in the upper echelons of society. He even cast this look of pity toward our sister, knowing full well she couldn't afford that kind of luxury for Sam.
The assumption that capital buys the key to the kingdom.
Exactly. But then, I walked past the living room an hour later, and Sam was on his tablet again. I asked him what he was doing. He was teaching himself a highly complex branch of astrophysics, a subject that isn't even offered in Leo's prestigious, expensive curriculum.
Wait, astrophysics? But you just said Sam is a 3.0 student who struggles with traditional academics. Was he actually comprehending the math, or just watching entertaining summary videos? Because the danger there is the illusion of competence.
That was my immediate thought too, so I challenged him. I asked him to explain it to me. And Sarah, I mean, I was blown away. He didn't just have surface level knowledge. He had turned his AI into a completely bespoke pedagogical mentor, tailored exactly to his own logical blind spot.
A bespoke mentor.
Yes. When he didn't understand an equation, he didn't just ask for the answer. He prompted the AI to simulate laboratory experiments he could never afford to run in real life and force him to calculate the variables himself.
So he architected his own learning environment. That is incredible. And that word, bespoke, it means custom made, perfectly fitted to the individual. He didn't need a $1,000 an hour tutor. He created a bespoke education that money literally couldn't buy.
I was witnessing the democratization of genius right in my sister's living room. Leo is being spoon-fed this pre-packaged, expensive education, waiting for the elite to open a door for him. Sam has already learned how to pick the lock.
Autonomous learners are refusing to let a lack of resources limit their vision. It's a complete paradigm shift. So we're seeing that wealth no longer holds the monopoly on elite knowledge. But I have to ask you, what happens when the Wi-Fi turns off and there's absolutely no manual for life's actual physical obstacles?
You mean, does Sam's digital command translate to the real world?
Precisely. Is he just as vulnerable as Leo without a screen?
That is exactly what was tested as the night grew to a close. My brother brought out this old, intricate mechanical wooden puzzle that has been in our family for generations. It is a total nightmare. Gears, latches, interlocking wooden joints.
The ultimate analog test. You can smell the old wood just talking about it.
Yeah, it smells like dust and frustration. It requires extreme patience, lateral thinking, and most importantly, the willingness to fail over and over again with your actual hands.
So who tried it first?
Leo approached it first. With his usual intense academic focus, he immediately looked around for a manual, a set of rules, or a YouTube tutorial. When he realized there was no shortcut, no searchable answer, I saw this unsettling flicker of panic in his eyes.
Because he's been trained his whole life to find the right answer as fast as possible to maintain that perfect record. His resilience muscle has completely atrophied.
Absolutely. To Leo, the struggle wasn't part of the learning process. It was just a barrier to getting the A. After just 10 minutes of failing to align the wooden gears, he set it down. He was visibly defeated. His entire world of instant gratification had left his spirit completely brittle.
And Sam, did he try to ask his AI for a solution?
Well, he didn't have a manual either, and yes, he actually did use his AI at first, but only as a consultant to understand the underlying principles of 19th century joinery. He just wanted the framework, but the actual work, the physical trial and error, the splintered wood, the pinched fingers, the 4 entirely failed attempts, that was all him.
He engaged in the messy process of reality. He didn't seek instant perfection.
He found strange joy in it. He worked on it for an hour. And when that puzzle finally loudly clicked into place, the look of authentic triumph on his face was something no algorithm could ever replicate. He was absolutely indefatigable. He had that profound, quiet refusal to be broken by failure.
Indefatigable. That is such a heavy, beautiful word. It means possessing a stamina that goes beyond the physical. It's the heat in your chest, the grit that refuses to be hollowed out by failure. It's not just about technological stamina. It's about maintaining human fortitude when the answers aren't easily searchable. Witnessing someone who just will not quit when things get hard, that is the variable the algorithms can never account for.
Witnessing it broke me in the best way possible, because while I was watching Sam hold that solved puzzle, I felt a hand on my shoulder. It was my wife. She's 8 months pregnant now. And as I looked at her and felt our baby kick against my hand, the epiphany from this whole weekend just crystallized. In 4 weeks, our child is going to enter this radically different world.
That brings it all right into your living room. It's not theoretical anymore.
It's not. I looked back at Leo, a brilliant kid who is sadly one software update away from being rendered obsolete. And then I looked at Sam, the commander who uses technology as an extension of his own curiosity, but still knows how to bleed over a wooden puzzle. In that exact moment, my mission as a father became crystal clear.
What did you promise yourself?
I promise that I will not raise my child to be a relic of the past. I will not force them to compete with machines in a race of memorization that they can never, ever win. I will teach them to be like Sam. I will show them how to treat AI not as a crutch, but as a sovereign co-pilot, something that augments their humanity rather than replacing their effort.
We have to teach the next generation that the final product generated by a machine is cheap. But the human spark you pour into the messy process is absolutely priceless.
Yes, I will encourage my child to fail, to struggle, to get splinters in their hands, to find the fortitude to solve the puzzles that have no manuals. And, looking right at you, listening to us at this cafe right now, I have to ask, are you currently acting like a searcher, or are you actively building your soul? Think about your own life today. What intricate, messy puzzles are you giving up on simply because there is no manual and you can't just search for the answer?
It is a profound question. The machines of our future are going to have all the answers, but they will never, ever have your purpose. The goal isn't to be a better searcher, it's to be a visionary. To lead the machines, discern the truth through the noise, and remain fundamentally, unconfiscatably human in an age of silicon. No matter how advanced the technology gets, the messy, beautiful, indefatigable human spirit is the one thing they can never replicate or steal.
Exactly. We have to lean into our humanity more than ever before. Thank you for sitting with me and letting me process this whole weekend out loud. To everyone listening, navigating this wild new frontier right alongside us, succeed together.